with my man Big Herc 916. Y'all probably already know. Herc, man, thank you. Listen, man, I'm on. You told me 12 noon, right? But I'm thinking 12 noon my time, so I come on, and it's really only 10 o'clock, but your time. But you told me it was gonna be 10 o'clock your time. I just had the shit wrong, man. And I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Thank you, man, for inviting me on your channel, bro. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, how's everything going with you, man?
Everything's going good, man. Just working on new content. Looking for other platforms. Building other businesses, man, and just staying consistent. Keeping a clear mind and staying focused. Sometimes you got to unplug from all this stuff, man.
Yeah. Now, Herc, how long have you been doing YouTube? When did you start YouTube?
I've been doing YouTube since 2013. So, I got in a while ago. Almost, I've been on for about a decade now, and it's been a roller coaster, man. I mean, I started off with Fresh Out, and then I branched off and did the Big Herc 916 channel, and then I added a car channel, Muscle Up Car Lifestyle. So I have 3 channels, but I kind of, it's YouTube, man. It's a weird algorithm, and it's changed over the years. And of course, certain things are censored, as you know. But if you can stay away from that, I guess you can win. But sometimes your heart speaks to you, man. You got to speak on certain things that come across your conscious.
Now, Herc, I started YouTube in like 2018, and I've seen the difference after the pandemic. YouTube changed as far as the number of people who thought when the pandemic came, people got laid off. Everybody thought they could start a YouTube channel and become an influencer. So it was more. There was already a certain amount of eyeballs, and then you had more places for them to look. It really changed my views and my money. But what was it like? Start from like 2013, 2014 when you started, man. What was it like then, man?
It was a lot more open, and I was probably one of the first channels to really talk about the prison genre. There wasn't a whole lot of people talking about prison in an aspect of rehabilitation and people who have achieved success. So I started that a whole conversation. I started a series called Prison Talk, where people would email me questions, and I would talk about certain topics about prison. But gradually, I added other things to that. I want to add in, I added in some people who maybe haven't been to prison, but who avoided prison. I added in military people. I added in some entrepreneurs. I try to give people kind of like a balance. I mean, I know everybody gets off on like all the prison stories and the fights and the riots and stuff, but I wasn't trying to glorify it. So back then, I would have a section where I talked about stuff like that, but I also tried to show inspirational things or things that would maybe kind of be a deterrent. So during that time, you could have an opinion and a voice, and it wasn't as censored. I mean, literally, from 2013, our channel really started taking off, and probably 2015, 2016, and we were averaging probably anywhere from 10,000 to like maybe 15, 20,000 subscribers a month. And then, and this was, people were still coming in talking about prison stuff, but our channel had really great interviews. And then right around, like you said, the whole pandemic thing is when it changed for us also, because literally right before that, we were starting to really make some decent money on YouTube. And then, when that happened and things kind of went political, it changed. And being that when you talk about the prison genre, you kind of pigeonhole yourself too, to some degree, because of advertisers. So certain people have a connotation or a stigma with talking about prison and jail. So your channel maybe won't get the advertising. So that's another thing, you got to kind of take into consideration. So that's why I started another channel talking more about motivation. But yeah, all of that played a factor during the whole pandemic thing. And then our channel, when the election, everything shifted in politics, it just really put our channel in the shitter. And as you know, if you weren't talking about a certain narrative or agenda, then you were kind of put on a blacklist. And that's what
Right,
kind
right, right. Now, Herc, man, to us about you started your own brand of soap right here. I got the Mango Delight. This is the Lemon Jasmine Mimosa and the Pearberry, man. Listen, everybody out there, I don't go to the store no more. I don't buy no soap from Walmart or Walgreens or Kmart or nowhere. I call my man Big Herc up and I buy all my soap from him. Wash your ass soap.
of.
Follow him on his Instagram at Big Herc 916. Herc, where did this come from, man?
I was always looking for something to brand myself with. And one of the things I always used to say is like, man, you out here running around, talking this and that. Wash your ass. If you're out there, don't be stinking, in public, and take care of your hygiene. I did a bunch of hygiene videos. And so I was like, man, I should come out with my own soap. And, when people think soap, they think, well, soap, how you going to make money off of soap? Well, I did some research, and I was looking into the guy who started Tropicana, suntan lotion, suntan oil, and how he came up with the idea of putting oil and making money off of tanning. And so I'm like, wow, this guy took a concept and became a multi-millionaire, billionaire from suntan oil. And then you think about like some of the other people who started off from nothing with something very simple. And everybody uses soap. And I've used a bunch of different soaps. I buy soaps from other places before. And I'm like, man, I need to go ahead and corner that with my own soap, with a high quality soap, for men, because men a lot of times don't really pay attention to their hygiene like women. You go to Bath and Body Works, you go to some of these other places, Ulta, and women are spending a lot of money on hygiene, and men need to step the hygiene game up, man. So I wanted to get something for men, and soap was my entry product that I want to come out with, so that I could, help these guys out here get their hygiene proper.
So this is actually you manufactured this soap. You came up with the ingredients. This is Big Herc soap. This is your soap.
That's my soap, but I have somebody I work with that has the formulas for the soap, but it's made in America. And it's something that I know that's natural. It's not gonna, I've used it before. I even put it out there on the market because I want to put something out that was a high quality product. And being a dark skinned brother, you know, being smelling good, feeling good as far as not drying your skin out and stuff like that. I felt like this was a great product after I tried some other products. So I decided to package it and put it together and put it out there for the market. So yeah, that's something I did some research on before I came out with, and found someone that was here in America and that put out a great product.
Yeah, man. Well, I use it, man. I call you every about month or two and have you put a package together for me, and I've turned on a few people and they love it too. It lasts a long time, man. Like that other shit, like the Irish Spring and them other soaps. You use it about 4 or 5 days and you down to nothing, man. These bars, they last a pretty long time. But listen, Herc, now you left California, you in Arizona now?
Yeah, man. Had to get out of California, and it wasn't like I was uh, running, but what happened was I came out to Arizona to do an interview, and it was during the whole lockdown thing. And when I came out here, it kind of blew me away as far as how they were handling the situation. And I'd never really been to Arizona, but for one time before, I went to a Bear Jackson auction out here. But coming out here and kind of checking out the area, looking to see like how clean it was. I'm in a place right now. It's a lot of country living. I see horses, cattle. I see llamas. I see goats. I see people with chickens and all this stuff. So when I seen that, when I came out to visit, I'm like, wow, um, it might be an option. And then I brought the wifey out here, and she liked it. And within like a month, we're like, let's move. And California, in particular, Southern California, where I was living at, you started seeing just the rise in crime and the lack of just the care in the city. Very dirty, the homeless, and so
Quality of life went down.
the whole quality of life, man. And I'm a California native, born in Sacramento, grew up in Northern California, Southern California, and I just started looking at things differently, man. I just the people, the way they handle the lockdown situation, and getting out of California when moving out here, it's been challenging as far as networking and meeting people because I don't know anybody really out here, no family, no friends, didn't go to school out here, but things are starting to like pick up now. But it's allowed me to get involved, do more of my art. Got Easy back there, so I started painting out here. My creativity elevated since I've been out here. My stress levels, I think, have dropped as far as just the hustle and bustle. In LA, there's a lot of hustle and bustle. There's everybody's out for themselves. So moving out here to Arizona, I feel like it's more of a community vibe. People they're not as pretentious because it's not Hollywood. So in Hollywood, and about it a little bit as far as like pitching shows and different ideas. Nobody wants to see you come up before they come up, and so it's a very cutthroat culture. And I still go back out there once a month to film and work, but I look at it differently now because I don't live there. But it's been a great move, man, for myself. I mean, I enjoyed out here. I got a very, my place is nice. It's peaceful. For what I pay out here in California, I mean, I would have to pay double to have the same peace of mind. And it's just different. California is not what it used to be. That state's went to shit, man.
Now, Herc, I follow you on your Instagram. Everybody go follow Big Herc on his Instagram, BIGHERC 916, Big Herc 916 on his Instagram. And I think you still do mentorship. Do you do the mentorship and coaching, life coaching?
I do some of the mentoring stuff, but I've been focused more now on just providing good content. I mean, I look at it like my whole thing is through the videos and what I share. I put a lot of free game out there. If somebody wants to get a one-on-one, I'm down to do that. I have a rate for that, but I'm not here to try to tell people like, you need me to be who you are. A lot of us, we have it within ourselves. People think, I see people paying all this money. Oh man, I paid this guy. And it's like, dude, you have all those characteristics already in you. You just got to pull them out, and a lot of times people are looking for other people to give them something they already have. So what I do is I just share a lot of free game. And if you want to have a conversation, maybe we can do that on a private level. But the mentoring now is more or less I'm working on, trying to do some things with young people to inspire them. And it's a side project I got going on with a nonprofit where, I give kids exposure to things they wouldn't normally be exposed to maybe open up their vision, their minds, so they're not as limited. Because I think that's the key. As a grown person, you have pretty much access to whatever you want. But for a young person, sometimes mentally you think you're limited. So I'm at a point now where I want to like open kids up to like the automotive industry, the trade industry, art, maybe real estate, just different things that engineering that will create these opportunities because a lot of kids in the hood they've never seen somebody that owns their own business. They've never seen a doctor. They've never seen somebody who's a CEO, somebody who's a private business owner. They've just seen people in the streets hustling and doing stuff. So I try to be more of an inspiration for that for young people. And then, like I said, somebody who's of adult age. I just kind of like I said, I'm just lending an ear because in all actuality, you have the tools. You just need the drive and the consistency to be successful.
So I'm glad you went there, and because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about next. And so you just said that we all pretty much have what we need. We just need to have somebody shine the light on it, or remind us, or maybe see an example by sight. Now, this on my channel, I talk a lot about self-confidence, right? Uh, I say that oxygen, water, and then right underneath is self-confidence. Now, what do you feel about self-confidence? And then talk about yourself. Was Big Herc self-confident his whole life, and he's just been that way? Or did you have bouts and then you developed it and worked on it and brought it out of yourself?
Self-confidence, I would say, is something I developed over the years. Going to prison really challenged that self-confidence in a sense where you're in captivity and you have grown men telling you to strip down, get against the wall, squat and cough, when to eat, when to stand up, when to go to bed, when to get up. And so when you deal with stuff like that mentally, it can it can crush you. Some people lose their mind in there. Some people become institutionalized. For myself, it was more of a challenge of will, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to let this break me. And and I said, by me being here, what is my purpose? Why am I really here? I'm not here for the bank robbery. I'm here because there's something else I need to learn. There's a life lesson to come out of this. So my whole thing in prison was finding myself and my calling, and creating a drive and a purpose behind my existence rather than just existing and engaging in frivolous activity. So in prison I did a lot of reflection, a lot of meditation, read a lot of law books, a lot of self-help books. Really came into my own. I didn't roll with like a particular car or clique or group of people. I sat at the independent table. I did my own thing. I had a mixture of friends in there from some brothers, Asian, some Caucasian cats, some Hispanic people. I dealt with a lot of people, so I was a guy who kind of like was able to uh, be a chameleon and blend in with all different kinds of individuals. And so my confidence really became strong inside prison, and I used to help a lot of people in the law library, and that translated into me feeling like, okay, this is what I'm able to do and help people. And then when I got on the street, I utilized that to get to where I am today. I mean, since I've been out, I never really second guessed myself as far as my drive or what I'm capable. I haven't filled out a job application since I've been out. I basically been operating off of God, which is self, and the universe guiding me. And even when I was at the halfway house, not knowing what I was going to do for a living, I still believed in self and was able to get to where I am now. So confidence is one of the, I say, top factors that separates, even in athleticism, when you talk about scholastics, when you talk about anything in life, you know, second guessing yourself, people will be able to read that, and that will always keep you in the back. And so if you're looking at really becoming a true trailblazer in whatever you're doing, no matter where you're at, and it's not all based on material. Everybody's looking at the guy with the Rolls Royce or the guy with the AP or this and that. A lot of times that's an illusion. And I'm not saying that because they have it in the material world it doesn't exist, but if you can manifest something in your mind, you can manifest it in this dimension, because your mind, your conscience is not going to entertain thoughts that you aren't capable of actually manifesting and achieving.
Herc,
So
hold on 1 second, Herc. This
yeah,
Sean's cool. Hello? Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. Can I call you back? I'm right in the middle of a meeting. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Sorry about that, Herc. That's Sean's school. I'm trying to set up a meeting with all his teachers, and they
Oh,
call, and I didn't want to miss it. So you were saying that how to manifest your thoughts and things like that.
yeah, you have to imagine there's a dense fog and you're trying to penetrate that fog with a flashlight, and you need a really bright light. So the dense fog is the programming you've had since conception. What the schools have taught you, maybe what you learned from your family, from your friends, the programming. And I'm not saying that that programming was actually done intentionally to limit your ability to elevate your conscious, but these people are just operating off of generations of what they've been taught. So
Right.
if you want to get past that and you talk about start creating your own, you have to break away from that. And a lot of times that's hard for people to break away from something they've been taught by their mom or their dad or their auntie or their uncle, because it's just like the way you look at people. Oh man, those people all like this, but you've heard that for so long, so you just keep repeating what you've heard, or you emulate what somebody else has you seen do. So to break away from that, I had to totally break away from all that. What my mom taught me, not saying that I didn't keep the good things, but I had to kind of discern all these little things to kind of build who I am and
Mm.
believe in who I am. Because you can tell somebody like, Sean, man, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna have this place. I want to build this business, and they're looking at you like, yeah, man, yeah, right. And in order for you to do that, you have to be unwavering in your vision, and you have to really pierce that dense fog, which is like a veil around you, because the people around you and what you've been taught is not necessarily in alignment initially with what your vision is. But once you break through that and then you get around other people who are visionaries like yourself, you'll see that everything you're trying to achieve and everything you're talking about, these people are already on that frequency. And it's 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 almost like without resistance. Like some people can get up and this things just happen and just blessed. And it's the same thing you can have, I can have, anybody can have, but a lot of people don't know how to do that because the programming is it's such a strong vibration. So literally, people I went to school with, family, I just kind of like I separated myself. And when I was in prison, I used to walk around with a DuPont register homes. DuPont registered the Car magazine, Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, business, what do you call it? Vanity Fair, just a bunch of different magazines. And I would read about really successful people. And I pictured myself in the room or in places around these people, and I changed my vibration. I didn't look at myself as being an inmate in prison, a convict. I didn't take on those connotations. And as you take on a connotation or a definition, you you become that person because you're bought into that program. If we say, "Oh, I'm a thug, I'm a gangster," then you do what gangsters do. So you have to reprogram yourself in order to manifest that which you want to become. And it's not easy because you can easily slip back into old programming. And that's why people, who live in these certain environments, like say $1 million neighborhood out there in Jersey or out here in Arizona, every house over there is a say every house is 2-3 million. You don't see apartments over there. You don't see liquor stores. You don't see the bullshit. Those people live there, and it's an energy pocket. So when you talk about, like I said, getting around that, it's like somebody living on the golf course, on a country club. They're living there because they are on that vibration. You're not going to have people at the country club talking about bullshit. It ain't gonna happen. You caddy, you've been on a golf course. You see what kind of conversations. It's a whole different conversation than what you get at the local,
At the
you know,
barbershop.
yeah, or the hood basketball court. Totally different. Weight pile. You're not gonna hear that shit. So
Now, Herc, let me ask you this. Shout out to my man Badger Wolf, gave $10 super chat. just got out of a long meeting and see two of my favorite YouTubers collabing again. Look at God. Badger Wolf, thanks for the super chat, man, for the donation. Holistic Love, I see. Now, you know, this confidence thing, and I can identify with you 1,000% because what prison did for me, and I also went to federal prison too, it augmented and strengthened what I had already had, and it took it to a whole new level. But talk about the confidence that the confidence that I got from, you know, going into a prison environment. And when I had to go, I was afraid, right? Because I had never been to the joint before, and I was trying every way possible to get out of going without ratting, and I didn't rat. But I was scared to death to go, right? But when I got there, but the fact that I went and I ran toward the situation. I didn't run, I didn't dip, you know what I'm saying? I went right at it. And when I got there and took a breath and said, okay, I'm here, let's do this. And then I did it, my self-esteem and my confidence went through the roof because I actually didn't run from a situation. I ran toward it. Did you have any type of experience with similar, or can you identify with that at all?
Well, see, for myself, I already had a record of, you know, being in trouble. So I went to a USP. You know, I had already been to juvenile hall. I had already been to California Youth Authority. So when I got
Right,
sent,
but that ain't no USP Long Park though.
no, it ain't no USP Long Park, but CYA, man, is like a gladiator school. I mean, youngsters, you know, I grew up in an era where everybody was pretty much, you know, in juvenile hall and stuff were gangbangers. You know, they were banging. So when I was 15, the average guy in juvenile and boys at the boys ranch where I was at in Sacramento was benching probably 250 and had knockouts. So everybody had hands. So it wasn't like the youngster today that are on drugs, you know, pulling out Dracos and, you know, ghost guns and shooting. We were fighting, man. And you had to have hands. I mean, literally on the weekends at the boys ranch, you know, it was it was Thunderdome. Dudes are getting thundered in the shower. Let's go to the shower. You go to the shower, you thunder it out. So it was a different era. So moving forward, fast forward, going to the feds, and when I got sentenced and I went to USP Long Park, you're talking about, dude, the average dude at USP Long Park is doing 20 to 30 years. You know, there's guys in there with 5 life sentences and 100 years. There's guys in there that, you know, I mean, dude, nobody
They ain't
parole.
never going home. They ain't got no outdate.
There's guys in there that, you know, I talked to who've been down 30. You ever talk to somebody who's been down 30 years, bro? And like I said, Long Park, when you roll up, they call it Castle Grayskull. It's like a dark cloud over that place. Literally, when we pulled in there, I was like me and a couple other dudes. And I'm like, with me, a white dude, maybe 2 white dudes and somebody else. And it was locked down. They had just stabbed somebody. Somebody got killed. And, you know, we're rolling in there and it's cold, overcast. You know, you walking down these long corridors and you go in there and it's the old, you know, you get into the unit. It's 3 tiers up, cages, you know, they got the little door there, everybody got their mirror out there. And dude, it was, you know, it's pretty intimidating, bro. Look, it's like going into a kennel and dogs barking, yo, homie, where you from? Who, wop. And they ask you, hey, what do you gang bang? Where you from? What do you claim? Who you want to put you in a cell with? I mean, and the cells in Long Park are so small. And this cell the cell I went into, it had a little slit. And all you could do is you could barely look through that thing. And literally when the door opens, you can't both be, somebody has to literally get on the bunk for somebody else to walk in. So when you do count, you stand behind each other. It ain't even the type of, you can't, both y'all can't really stand up and be seen at the same time. It's literally a bathroom. My bathroom right now with the tub is probably the same size of the Long Park cell, and the bunks, literally in the bunk, your head is touching right here and your feet is touching right there. So, you know, it was very intimidating, and if you are not right with your paperwork, I don't care who you are. I've seen the biggest dudes. They're not playing, bro. They're not playing, man. They will Long Park. It's nothing. Dudes already doing time. Somebody just they'll kill you, stab you. They will check. It's not like there's no games. It ain't no Tekashi 6ix9ine shit going on. You will get peeled. So being in that environment and not succumbing to your fears and being around guys who are really major figures, guys who aren't in there to, everybody's somebody, and you just mind your business, man. So it's a humbling experience. You learn a lot about yourself and your character. And if you can survive that, any situation I've dealt with on the street doesn't compare. It doesn't compare, man. I mean, even the guards on Park are gangster. I mean, you guys, dude, the guards are goons. They're goons.
Well, they have to be. They have to be.
Yeah.
They have to be.
Dude, you got guys from all over the country, DC, New York, Jersey. I mean, dude, gangsters. And so you got to be careful who you talk to, who you eat with, where you walk, what's going on, paying attention, not running your mouth, not showing any feminine tendencies, not acting like you're too hard. There's a lot of everybody's watching this. And then you got, like I said, this guy's over here doing this or hanging out with this guy. So I learned a lot. And, I from there went to Sheridan, then from Sheridan to Herlong. But yeah, prison taught me a lot about confidence, communication, reading body language, dealing with people.
Eye contact.
Yes, all that, man, all that. So it was definitely played a major factor. And experiencing that, it taught me about going into places that were purposely uncomfortable. And I say that as a brother, man, and I don't use the term black because I consider myself a brother, because black by law is considered dead. People don't understand that, and that's why they actually defined us as black. But as a brother, I always try to go places where I'm gonna put myself around people that I feel are at a level where I'm at or higher, so I can learn from, and that challenges your confidence. So rather than me socializing with people who aren't really looking to try to have the things I want in life, and it's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own.
Right. But I ain't got no time for you. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about cell phones and all that other getting high, what you had on the street. That didn't interest me.
No. So even today, like, I go places, even when I didn't have anything, I used to drive all the way out to Malibu and put myself around people who are balling, even when I only had $20 in my pocket. Because I want to get used to that. I want to get used to that being around money and what it feels like to feel like somebody trying to come in. And once you get used to that, pretty soon it becomes natural. And then eventually you're pulling up in your old school, your Jag, your Roll, and it's like you're there. But you gotta, your mind has to know that that's where you belong. It's almost like when I was in LA, I used to go to houses and open houses in the hills. And I would go in there and walk through there like I'm gonna buy the house. I didn't have the money to buy the house, but I'd walk through there. Oh, hey, so how you like it? Go out to look at the view. And I'd be like, okay, you got to know what it's like to be in something like that in order to be there. If you don't know what it's like to drive a six-figure Benz or to live in $1 million home or to really know what that's like, you can't create it in your mind. You can't create the universal things so you can have that. So the programming is so important to really believe that that's where you want to be. Otherwise, people wonder why they're stuck. You're stuck because you don't truly believe that's what you want. And I'm not saying everybody wants that. I'm just saying for myself, the things I want in life, I have to believe unwavering that that's what I want. And that's where the self-confidence comes in.
My man. Man, shout out to my man Juan AES Corpus. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate you, man. So Herc, how important, and you just touched on this a little bit. A lot of the things I talk about, and man, you said it. When I was in prison, man, I learned more about me than I learned about anything, man. And what I focus on a lot on my channel is self-acceptance, right? self-perception, how I perceive me, self-love, self-care, and self-confidence, man. And I think I'm always, this is all I focus on because, you know, it helped me so tremendously in my life, man. And just not even from a material standpoint, but just from a peace of mind and a self-satisfaction standpoint, man, just to be all right with me, man. Do you can you add a little color to that? Do you have any experience with that?
For myself, um, when I got out, I was renting a room, sleeping on an air mattress, right? And I had a Cadillac that I had got hooked up with from a Mexican friend of mine who was still locked up, and I was making payments on it. And the car was weird because after a certain time when it got dark, it wouldn't start. Like it had some type of, I don't know if the engine was tied into some the lights when they came on and it cut something off. But in the morning the car would start, but after 7, 8 o'clock the car wouldn't start. So literally, I used to be scared to go on a date because I don't want to get stuck somewhere and the car wouldn't start. But the car would start in the morning. So I drive and do all my stuff during the day and be stuck at night. And I eventually coincidentally sold that car at night to somebody. I ran some game on them and I sold the car. But anyways, yeah, man, that right there, when I was dealing with that and I'm sleeping on this air mattress and I had to walk through this other guy's room to get to the bathroom. So I used to bring women through his room to get to my room to go bust their cheeks. And I'm like, you know, still doing my thing, but I'm like, I got it. I was always visualizing getting out of that situation. So I saved my money up from that situation, living in that room, sleeping on an air mattress that would deflate at night. And then eventually I took that Cadillac, flipped it, got a Camaro, flipped it, got another car. And then I was flipping cars on Craigslist. And then I ended up getting a apartment. And that apartment, I started doing my thing, buying and selling cars. And I worked my way up where I had a side business. I was training clients. And mind you, I never had an actual uh, uh, license to train people at the gym, but I would just see people working out and I'd be like, hey man, if you want to do your triceps, you should do it like this and do this and that and blah blah blah. And they're like, you a trainer? I'm like, nah, but here's my card, holler at me. And I started doing that. And so my confidence was always there as far as asserting myself. And eventually I worked my way up to where I was buying and selling cars. I had a list of clients. I was doing my thing and started my YouTube channel, but I never fell back to where I'm like, you know what? I can go get a job for the state or I can go do this because I knew once I got into that job, my opportunities to be out in the world were now locked in and I couldn't do anything. So if I'm out, even if I don't have any money, if I see an opportunity, I can capitalize on it and I have freedom. And freedom is your most valuable asset because freedom is time. Time is money. Somebody can work 8 hours overtime and say they get a fat check, but you can go out and get that same fat check within an hour, within a minute, if you are free and you have the ability to take advantage of opportunities. You can go down to some meetup and meet somebody that would change your life, or you can go over here. And so I had never associated a job with money. I associated opportunity in people with money because we're all money. We're all multimillionaires and we don't know it. We're all billionaires and we don't know it. So by me getting out, being able to network with people is what I utilize to create opportunities. So I was always one of the people I could say out and just making things happen, man. And I would, like I said, flipping cars, doing I did my own underwear line for a minute, my own clothing line. I tried doing an app, but I never gave up. I never lost sight of what I want to do. And there's times where, maybe I feel down, like, damn, man, I see something on the internet and I'm like, you know, should I already be there? But then I look at like, you know, people who start stuff, the guy who started I think KFC started in his 40s. The guy who started Pierre Cardin started in his 40s. One guy started in his 50s. Age is only a number. And even though you feel like you see things, you think, well, man, that person has this, you're not competing against that person. Your only competition is yourself. And so whatever it is you want to achieve, if you put it into your heart, into your soul, you will be able to achieve that. But like I said, it's you got to always be working towards what it is you're trying to visualize, and know that consistency is going to pay off. And the biggest thing is being consistent, getting up. And since I've been out, I always worked out. I always try to watch what I do. I try to always put the right energy out there, and I just and one of my big things for 2024 is tightening my circle with those who I feel are aligning more with my views, and not wasting frivolous time for the sake of just entertaining people for entertaining them. I do the YouTube stuff because I feel like, that's my way of kind of sharing the thoughts in my head. But as far as on my personal time, I really don't talk to people on the phone, man. I work more on myself and things that elevate me and my family, me and my wife.
You said that we're all millionaires, we're all successful, and I think what you mean, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is that we all have the potential to be whatever it is that we want. And I agree. What do you think holds people back, or what were some of the things that held Big Herc back from being from evolving and materializing these visions in our minds?
I would say I held myself back because I wasn't actively.
The volume went out. My volume went out. Did your volume go out?
What I said I wanted to become in my mind. So that held me back. What I mean by actively pursuing is that, say you want to be a millionaire, right? Or a billionaire, whatever the case may be. But you say that, but you sit at home and you're playing video games all day, or you're smoking weed, or you're maybe it's watching porn, whatever you're doing, but it's frivolous. You're not really doing, or you're at a job, but that job is never going to allow you to really go after your heart. So, and your heart, say you want to be an artist, or say you want to be a fabricator. So, if that's what you want to do, you have to have enough belief in yourself to quit whatever it is you're doing and say, you know what, every day I'm going to do something that works toward this goal. And I heard a guy say the other day, whenever you start something, and you start when you first start doing something, you suck at it. You're not very good at it. Maybe you can't really even draw a stick figure, but over a period of time, you perfect it. It's like welding. Your first welds are really crappy, but eventually you become very good at welding. You become very good at fabricating metal. Now you're the go-to guy at this muffler shop, and you're doing headers, you're doing custom exhausts, you're doing downpipes, and everybody's coming. And you notice the guy at the shop, he's like, you got 6 months booked. You start thinking like, man, I'm working for this guy. He's paying me $50 an hour, but I should ask him about getting a percentage of the shop. And he's like, oh man, I can replace you. You can? Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna go do my own thing and start me a shop. Maybe start doing it out of this little garage down this, my own little garage. And by you having the confidence to confront that guy that you work for, now you're doing it in your own shop. And maybe your first year or so, you're kind of just barely paying your bills, but by the fourth, fifth year, dude, you're thriving. You hire another guy under you hire another guy. Now you're the custom fabrication shop. You're doing mufflers, you're doing maybe custom panels, dude. But because you had the confidence to tell that guy you work for, you're the man now. And that's what holds people back. They don't they get in a comfort zone, they get complacent, they get content, and they're scared. Fear sets in. Man, if I don't get that check, man, that guy, I know I can do it on my own, but working for him is easy, blah, blah, blah. And so you don't challenge yourself. You got to be able to sometimes jump off that raft and get in that water and swim to the next island to see what's over there. But by doing that, you're gonna be able to really fulfill your potential, because we all have a potential here on this earth. If you were not here with something to fulfill, you would have been aborted. You would have maybe been in some clinic. So you would have never you would have never reached the egg. You would have never fertilized the egg to become who you are. You would have never made it to the age you are now. If you're able to hear this and actually comprehend what I'm saying, then you have a purpose. whether or not you fulfill that purpose of what it is. Because if you were not here for a purpose, something would have already taken you from this planet. You would have went to another dimension. If you're still here in this dimension, there's something you should be doing. Maybe you're not doing yet, and you're not getting your blessings. But we all have a blessing. And so, when I think about that and think about what I'm doing and why I was, swayed to move to Arizona, what brought me, why am I, visualizing, like I visualize being a custom car builder. Why am I putting so much money into my cars? And why shouldn't I have done something else? But something's telling me to don't give up. And if something's telling you to don't give up on your project car, or your project house, or your project clothing line, or whatever you're doing, then there's something that the universe is saying that, man, just be patient, but you will see when you finish, people are going to revere you. People are going to look at you like, wow, and it's going to open up doors. So I always say, man, and I'm saying in positive sense, I'm not saying don't give up on robbing and stealing from people. I'm talking about things that are productive. Whatever it is, whatever it is you're doing, don't give up. Sometimes there's things you're doing and maybe you got to fine tune them. There's things I started and I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's something else. But your passion, whatever it is you're passionate about, if you truly believe, that thing will manifest into something great, man. But you got to believe, man. And sometimes, like I said, the biggest thing is fear. Fear paralyzes people, man. Fear and not letting
Doubt.
go of old habits.
Hey, Big Herc, how important? And you talked about this briefly. How important is exercise and physical fitness in your life and what you do that it helps you do what you do?
Physical fitness has been something with, as far as for myself, since I was a child. I mean, I always was into like outdoor activities, whether it's BMXing, skateboarding, and then I got into working out, playing sports. But for me, physical activity is like, it's like washing my ass. I wash my ass every day. I work out every day. It's a, I don't do it to try to be, some, Mr. Olympia, or, look at my six pack. I do it for myself because it's meditative. And I feel like when you're moving, you're alive. You look at right now, they want to promote a lot of just, lethargic behavior, things that bring down your immune system, things that bring down your bodily functions. And for
Make
myself,
it weak.
moving make you weak. And when you're moving and you're active, you feel good. You're releasing endorphins. It's a natural high. When I'm in there and I'm squeezing out that last rep, or I'm doing my legs, I'm sore. I'm like, dude, it's a rush. It's like the equivalent of, I've never done, any major drugs. So it's equivalent of probably getting high off a drug and feeling the trip. For me, when every time I do that, I'm like, wow, I feel good, that squeeze in my muscles. So it makes me feel alive. And everybody I've seen that's been successful long term, when they go and they're walking or they're playing, pickleball, whatever they're doing, it keeps you uh, driven with a purpose, and it keeps your mind clear. So I would say activity, whatever it is, if it's physical, is going to elevate you and also stimulate your mind to keep, it's like washing away the mud and the dust and all the dirt from your conscious. So physical activity is priority, man.
Talk about the discipline, the mental discipline to be consistent. And somebody just asked, like, what is your day? Talk to it. Tell us what Big Herc's days like. We wake up, you know, are you a pretty disciplined dude? You got what you need to do and you accomplish all your errands every day?
I'm pretty disciplined. I mean, sometimes, you know what? I don't really like my day because of like what I do. I don't really say like I'm gonna do certain things at a certain time, but I do have like a list of things I need to get done. I have like a desk calendar. I have a regular like organizer, but like I'll have a list of things I want to do for the week, or I'll have something in my mind. Like I said, okay, I want to paint. Like let's say I want to paint Easy, and I have it in my mind, I said, okay, tonight I'm gonna do it. So I might get up and say, I get up at like say 7:38, have my breakfast, and then I'll go and get behind my computer, maybe do some social media stuff, and then I'll turn around and be like, okay, do all my little errands, go to the gym, maybe do a walk outside. If I didn't go outside in the backyard and meditate, and then I'll come home, answer some emails, and then I'll get into a zone. I'll go and I'll start working on the painting because I got to get it out my head, and then I might paint till like sometimes 1 a.m. So when it's really quiet, and when I'm painting, a lot of times I don't even listen to. Sometimes I listen to music, old school. I listen to a lot more old school now. Otis Redding, Al Green, Isley Brothers. I'll bump some, Stevie Wonder. Just I listen to Commodores. I'll listen to some old school, and then I'll
Why the
turn.
old school, Herc? Why the old
It's,
school?
it's it's a different vibe, man. If you listen to the soul music, like I grew up on all that stuff with my mom, because my mom's only 14 years older than me. And when I listen to that, I think about like I hear the voices and I hear the vibes, and it's a different era, man. It's a soulful, very like the energy, it's a vibration where when I listen to like, if I'm in the gym and I listen to Young Dolph, and I hear him, and I'm listening to Young Dolph, man, and it's crazy. I was listening to the other day, and I'm hearing him talking all this stuff, right? And I'm like, crazy, this brother's dead, bro. This brother, man. And I'm listening, and he's talking shit about Yo Gotti and his brother. Now, Yo Gotti's brother's dead. And I'm like, just look at the energy, man. I'm like, wow, this shit is crazy. So I can only listen to that so much. Sometimes when I get trying to make it into my work, but I try to stay away from like the gangster rap, even though I grew up on NWA and SIBO and Spice One. And I tap back into this older music because of the vibration. But it just sends me to another place. Even when I'm cruising in my car and I think about, hanging out with my grandfather or my grandmother, or just the vibrations, because a lot of young people don't understand that, man. And it's like they don't have those old mentors anymore, and it was a different era. But that music takes me to a place. I'll meditate, and like I said, I'll paint, and it comes out, and it's like I never know how it's going to come out. I just have it in my head. But I try to do that, and I try to like put out, pieces where I'm sketching or drawing. And I tell people that besides working out is like I said, washing your ass or showering. Have you a passion, whether it's, some people it's golf, some people maybe shooting pool, some people maybe is crocheting or knitting or whatever, painting, but have something that you can channel your energy into, and it'll help clear your mind. And so when I do that and I go to bed, I wake up and I feel better. You know what I mean? It's like I've gotten that energy out. So I do that on a regular, but I wasn't able to really do that when I was in California because I was on the go so much. But being here, I'm able to tap into that other energy. But that's kind of like my day. And in between that, I'm doing soap orders. I might get an order for, whatever here, or, I'm working on a car over here. But I always have something going on. Like right now, I got 3 car projects. I'm working on a painting of Paul Walker. I just finished the Talladega Nights painting. I'm working on setting up more interviews. So I'm always got something going on, and I'm tapping into these different things. But I'm never stagnant. I'm never in still water, not doing anything. I'm always like creating and putting out energy into the universe and looking for other opportunities to come back to me in exchange.
That's what's up. Man, shout out to my man Vegas Gates. Gates, thank you for the super chat. Vegas Live podcast. Y'all need to go follow my man Vegas Gates on his Instagram at Vegas Gates, on his Facebook at Vegas Gates, and I think he has a podcast, Vegas Live podcast, probably on YouTube. If you don't have it, look for it and follow him and tell him you saw him on Sean G's podcast. So Herc, you've been artistic in terms of drawing and painting your whole life, or was this something that you developed?
Nah, since I was a kid, man. When I was a kid, my mom used to buy me these art sets, watercolors, pastel, crowns, all these different things. So I had a lot of, like, for Christmas, I would get these different things, and I could draw like monsters or draw this. And I remember I drew my first comic book when I was probably in the 3rd grade. I don't know where it's at now, but I had some friends and they used to draw, and we used to like get together and, rather than playing video games, we would draw together. So he draw some stuff, I draw some stuff, we look at it, and he's like, oh man, you could do this. And so I always had a creative mind. I was always into art and drawing and comic books and stuff like that. And then I got away from it a little bit. And then I used to draw when I was in the county, or MDC before I got sentenced. And I would make money drawing people's pictures for, cards and stuff like that. And then when I was in prison, I didn't really draw a whole lot. But then when I got out, I kind of like got back to that. And so it's always been a form of expression. It's always been an escape for me to draw. And I've been drawing since I was probably 5, 6 years old, man.
That's dope, man. Shout out to my member Grindhouse TV, said dope interview. That Easy E painting is fire. Well, Herc, man, listen, man. I want to thank you personally because you, shout out to my man Moses Cuevas. He put me in touch with you. I did my first big interview with you on the Fresh Out. And, it really helped me launch my old channel, the channel I took down. And, I want to thank you for reaching back out to me, for me reaching out to you and coming on my show, man. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate the opportunity, Sean, man. And like I said, I want to definitely collab with you in my personal channel, which is, like I said, outside of Fresh Out. And we'll set that up, man. I'll tap in with you on that. And yeah, man, keep motivating people, man. I'm always seeing you doing your thing. And little Sean, man, it's like I see him. He's killing it with the baseball, man. And I know I see him bumping the old Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. You got him on the right vibe, man. Because
Thank you, man.
I think fathers don't get enough credit, especially in our community.
Talk to him, Herc.
And I tell you, man, when I seen the way you and Sean communicated, I'm like, damn, bro, that's what we need, man. That's what these young men need is that confidence you give him is the confidence I wish somebody would have gave me at a younger age, so that I wouldn't have went looking for that confidence in the streets, trying to, be in that confidence with I was trying to get it through violence. And what you're giving Sean is invaluable, man. And your role as a parent in his life is, dude, that's what we need to get back to. And that's what's missing. It's incentivized right now to push the male out of the house and have him, single mom, oh, we can do it, this and that, talking shit. Dude, a male in the house, it's been shown, and whether it's a young man or young woman, raises the percentages of those young people being successful dramatically. And dude, like I said, you taking the forefront in that, dude, I commend you.
Thank you,
And
man.
Like I said, man, as a role model for other fathers out there, dude, you should hold classes, man, because you're doing it right, bro. You're doing it right. And little Sean, man, good young man. And not buying into this gangster culture, this just ignorant ass behavior. And it's sad, bro, because I have bought into that and it took me a long time to get away from that. And I think, like I said, having somebody like you as a pillar in his life will, anytime he has a choice to make, he'll reflect back on what dad would say. And that's going to steer him straight, man. So shout out to you, man, for being a stand-up father, bro. And for other young fathers out there, man, they should tap in with you and really get some insight on what you've done to keep your son out of trouble and to stand up for him and be a voice for him and to not let him go to the streets or outside the house for these answers that you're supposed to give him. Your kid is not supposed to get this. The teacher is not his dad, his mom.
Check him out.
Not his parent. You're his parent, bro. These people want to parent our kids. You're the parent. So that role that you play, bro, there's no replacing that. And I just want to say that, bro, because like I said, that I've seen that, and I haven't seen, when I see fathers, bro, dude, the way you implement him into your life and social media, dude, that's unparalleled.
Thank you, Herc, man. Thank you. I'm gonna be going live on something that's pretty deep that happened recently, man. But I appreciate you. I thank you for watching. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this the thumbnail that we did. I'm gonna post it on my Instagram. I'm gonna collab with you, man. If you can accept the collab and we can blow it up and get some views, man. Everybody get in touch with my man Big Herc. Support independent artists, buy his paintings in the back. Get in touch with him. He has his own brand of soap that you need to wash your ass. This is all I buy. You can ask him. I call Herc on the phone. Herc, put a box together for me. It's going to be a little bit more than what you're going to play for some Irish Spring or whatever, that other Dove or Dial, but this is much better. It's got better ingredients, and we need to support each other. Follow him on his YouTube, his car channel, all his platform. And Herc, man, I'm gonna holler at you later. Let's do it on your channel next time, man.
Yeah, next time, man. I'm gonna tap in with you, man. I'm gonna figure out what my schedule looks like next week, bro, because I want to get you on for sure.
My man, somebody right here says Holistic Love. I love his soap. Okay. So somebody else already got it. Big Herc, I'm out, man. All the best to you, kid.
Thank you, man.
Peace.